Welcome to Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast, where our goal is to keep you informed, inspired, and a little entertained on all things diabetes. The information contained in this program is based on the experience and opinions of the Integrated Diabetes Services clinical team. Please discuss any changes to your treatment plan with your personal healthcare provider before implementing.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Think Like a Pancreas podcast. I am Kathryn Alvarez, and I'm going to be hosting today, talking to my two friends, Dana and Jenny. And guys will get to know us. So you get to like the whole inside scoop of who we are. Yay. Let's kick it off. Dana, what brought you to IDS? Why are you a diabetes educator? Why did you do that?
My gosh. So when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I was in my early 20s and had so many plans for being active, so many plans for starting a family, so many plans for just all the things I wanted to accomplish in the world, and on a different trajectory in terms of education. But the diabetes educator that I worked with was just so profound in my diabetes education. Because I think when you're not diagnosed as a young child, but, you're kind of taking on your diabetes management as yourself, it can be super lonely. You don't go to diabetes camp. You don't have your parents, necessarily as involved because you're not living with them so much. And so this woman, her name was Deanna, ironically, close to Dana. She was fantastic. And so she was the one who kind of started me thinking about becoming a diabetes educator. I have a master's in public health. I had a totally different direction in terms of career. I did public policy and lobbying for a little bit. And then I decided to make lemonade out of lemons. And that's kind of the silver lining of my diabetes story. I feel like she really was the one who just showed me that you could be impactful on someone's life and diagnosis and like a low point of their life. And then just start to show them that diabetes is not a limiting factor at all. It can be your superpower, is what I like to say.
Cool. Yeah, love that. How about you, Jenny?
I'm prior to diagnosis, I really wanted to be a veterinarian.
I think all young girls do, right? I remember being that, yeah.
Yeah, I just, and I actually I grew up with cats. And so our veterinary service was not too far from my house. It was only like a half a mile away. And so I had even done from about 5th grade until my diagnosis, I had done some summer just volunteer work with the pets that were there while they were, overnight for a couple of days or whatever for surgeries, and really got to know it. And I really, really liked it. That's what I thought. So, and I've always been more interested in math and science. I really have always liked those kinds of things. So then I was diagnosed with type 1, and kind of like you, Dana, I had a really good education team. I mean, I spent, years ago, they used to have you spend like a week in the hospital with diagnosis. And 37 years ago, that was kind of the thing that they did. Yeah. Like you just got to sit in the hospital and learn all the things that you were going to learn and make sure you could take an injection and, whatever. But
pinch
I had
the orange.
Pinch the orange, which is not pinchable. Like unless you remove the skin, you cannot pinch an orange, right? Anyway, it's kind of funny in the hospital. I had a stuffed animal with me, and I asked if there was no Rufus at that time. There was nothing except the orange. So I asked if I could actually use my stuffed animal because it was pinchable and the orange wasn't.
Already ahead of the curve. Jenny.
Ahead of the curve. There you go. Yeah, I should have designed Rufus, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really good team. Gosh, I still remember my diabetes educator was a nurse. And once I got to high school, I actually found out that she was the mom of one of my classmates. I didn't know them in grade school, but once I got to high school, you meet more people. And her name was Nan. She was fantastic. Really, really patient, listened to me even as the age that I was at. And then the dietitian educator that worked with her was also just as fantastic. Interestingly, I don't remember her name, which is odd because they were really awesome together. But after that, just kind of started thinking more, especially once I got into high school, about, gosh, I really like the nutrition part of this. I really like learning about what food does. And I think that was my early learning of the macronutrients and the value to what they do in my body. And I was an athlete, and they as a team were really good at explaining that for me, which, I mean, it clicked in my brain at that age, right? So I kind of changed courses, not in college, but I changed courses and was, again, one of the weird ones who goes to college kind of knowing what I really wanted to do. So yeah, that's kind of, and then I went to school, obviously, for biology, and then just did emphasis in human biology and nutrition as my track, and all the fun things that you end up learning along the way.
Mine was like completely unorganized. So when I was little, I wanted to be a bone doctor, is what I would say. So I thought I would be an orthopedic surgeon.
Is that because you were breaking a lot of bones?
Yes, it was. I sure
Okay.
was. And
Yeah.
so, yep, I was in the,
You and your crooked elbow?
yep, my elbow is crooked to this day. It's great.
Yes.
And it's still very painful. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And when I went away to college, by that time I'd shifted. I wanted to be an endocrinologist. So I started with biology. And then I was like, wow, I really don't like these classes. It literally just took like intro to bio. I was like, this is terrible. Then I was going to be a nurse. And then I was going to be a sports psychiatrist or something in that realm. And then I read Think Like a Pancreas randomly because my endocrinologist recommended it. And I was like, no, I'm going to be Gary Shiner, which is
Wow.
yeah. So I literally
A
decided.
way prettier version.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's what I did. So I went for exercise physiology, and then I did my master's in exercise physiology. And prior to going for my master's, I got to connect with Gary. And so we sat down at this cafe close to the Integrated Diabetes Services office because I was from Pennsylvania. I'm from Lancaster. And I got to work in the office for a while as the little intern while I went to school, which was pretty close as well to the IDS office, and did my master's. But exercise physiology, I feel like that was definitely the path I was meant to go down. It really impacted my life in a positive way. And it was like college was a very, very difficult time for me, just, emotionally. I think I'm surprised sometimes that I even got through it because my blood sugars, like, I didn't pay attention to very much until later on. I was like I barely have diabetes, like, kind of
But I
mind.
think that's so common for
Yeah.
college kids that are so busy and trying to figure out how to manage life independently, much less diabetes independently. So I see that so often.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good point. And I think kids, like, I also went a bit in that direction. I mean, I don't know. Were you on a pump in college, Kathryn?
No way.
So neither was I. And there were no CGMs at the time, right? And pumps, there were pumps, but I didn't want a pump.
Right.
I mean, those initial pumps were just huge.
Not for
And
me. Y'all me by.
Yeah, I mean, and they were, so I did it a little bit more like, I just know the things that I need to do. And at the time that I was in college, I still had R and L insulin. So, I mean, it wasn't until a couple years into college that Lantus came out, as well as Humalog, a rapid insulin. I had read an article and I went to my endocrinologist and I said, this is what I want. Like,
Right.
this is what I clearly need and it'll help me. But up to that point, I've always been a little bit more of like the rule follower as a first child. So I did it like I was told to do, and so I think I got through college a little bit easier maybe because I always volunteered to be the designated driver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think in the back of my head, I was more worried about what would happen and nobody else would really know what to do. So I don't know how yours differed than what I did,
didn't
but
think about it. I don't know
you
how
didn't think about it.
I don't know how I survived. So, like, not until like my senior year after reading Think Like a Pancreas did I even realize like what would be. So I didn't wear.
Well, I think that a lot of people do have that one moment of aha, perhaps. Maybe Jenny, you didn't, but that one moment of like, oh, I need to change the way I manage this, or this is like needing to be a bigger character in my story. I don't know. I think for me, it was trying to figure out how to do all of the activities that I wanted to do, whether it's a marathon or climb mountains or hike, and just kind of try to figure out how to make dive fit into that activity that I wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason when I found those articles about the newer insulins,
Yeah.
because I think at that point I was already like washed out in doing it the way that I was doing it and seeing, I didn't really feel like I was missing out, but I felt like I also wasn't just allowing myself maybe the freedom that you gave yourself, Kathryn, right? I was a little bit more stringent and I was like, gosh, this might make a little bit like allowance for variability.
Why I started a pump was because I wanted to get pregnant. And that, and that was kind of the deal that I guess I made myself, is that, I'll get on a pump and then maybe
And then it'll be
would
fancy,
help.
right?
Yeah, it'd be fancy.
Snazzy. I got on a pump because when I met Gary, he bolused from his phone, and I was like, nobody told me you could do that. How'd you just bolus from your phone? Of course, it was
Oh, so
open.
he was already looping. I was like thinking
He was
several
looping.
years ago.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's where I saw it for the first time, and then
Yeah.
I think like a month later, I'm looping. So, yeah, that's what brought me to it.
Was he looping with a Medtronic or was he looping with Omnipod or Omnipod? Yeah. I think I was the first one in our practice actually to loop.
Really?
Really. And it was
But I think,
mainly
Jenny, you and I started looping around the same time, I think just almost 9 years now. I think around Halloween time is when I think I'm coming up on 9 years.
Yeah, my Halloween is actually the renewal for my Apple developer.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how
it, yeah.
I always remember it. And I started looping on Halloween I don't think you must maybe a year out from, maybe a year sooner than me, Dana, because mine
I may
was
have also lost track.
2017. October
that's right.
31st of 2017 was my first loop, and it was not Omnipod connected yet. They were still working on the communication key.
Yeah, no, I think I had my old Medtronic with loop for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay, so you were definitely looping longer than I
Yeah.
was. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember when you started with integrated.
2020.
2020. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had been, again, I mean, it was just Gary, myself, and Alicia in the office at the time. So I had a client I was working with through her pregnancy, and she had, previous to being a nurse, she had actually done like computer, like coding development, that kind of thing. So she really understood. And I was working with her. I'm like, why am I not doing this? So she offered to like meet up with me on a Saturday via Zoom. And it was hours. It's like hours that she was on.
Mine took 3 weekends, I remember. And the person that helped me, we Skyped. I mean, remember Skype?
Oh, so it was Skype. Yeah.
Yeah, we were on Skype for like 3 Friday evenings. I mean, just trying to create this thing.
How did you find it, Dana? What was your introduction?
Okay, so I'm going to say it and don't tell anybody, but it was at the time the medical director for Omnipod. I went to a dinner and she, it was obviously long before Omnipod 5, long before any of the automated systems were commercialized. And she was just telling me about this. And then as I learned more, I was like, well, how do I find out about this? She gave me a couple of people's emails to reach out to. It was like a whole like written on the back of an envelope, literally, and trying to go through the back channels of the internet. And so, yeah, but it was like this Omnipod dinner that I went to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really interesting, eons ago, it was really interesting how you got connected with the right people almost by chance to hear about it. Because again, I mean, our internet and our online community presence has grown so much, even in the past 3 years.
Absolutely.
That when, I started looping, when you started looping, there really was a connected, you still had to go through like knowing somebody and texting with them.
I mean, there wasn't a website with directions, right? I mean, that came much, much later and so beautifully done. The community just.
And the directions, they were like reading hieroglyphics on the wall. Really, the directions were, and that was why I was so glad she was walking me through it, because she had already been like built it and used it. And I was like, she knows how to set it up. I'm not going to kill myself.
I didn't even attempt to do it by myself. That's how confusing it was.
Yeah.
There was no way that I could have figured it out.
Yeah. So you came at a good time, Kathryn. You came in at like
2019 and Xcode. I went in, terminal. I don't remember it being it was definitely more difficult than what it is now with building with Xcode, but I don't remember.
No, it's just so beautifully
It's
Just
so
It is.
easy now.
Yep.
And
the doc-
we clearly we're all using it, and that's the reason that we're not only colleagues, but we're text friends. Like, what about
Right,
this?
right,
Like,
right.
we talk all things, which is great. So
that's really great.
Word from our sponsor. Byram Healthcare understands that managing diabetes isn't one size fits all. With a full range of CGMs, insulin pumps, and diabetes supplies from top brands, Byram makes it easy to get what you need, hassle-free, shipped right to your door. And Byram's team of experts helps navigate insurance so you can focus on living your best life. Ready for better diabetes care? Visit byramhealthcare.com/podcast or call 866-692-8024 and select option 3. And now, back to our program.
You guys want to tell our listeners where you live? Because I think that's something that like so many people don't even know, that like people assume we're in Pennsylvania. We're not in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, none of us.
None of
None
us.
of us.
yep. And I'm in Madison, Wisconsin.
And I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Of course, from Pennsylvania. You can hear it in my voice. And I'm a big Eagles fan. Oh, Dana.
We're still friends, even though I'm a Cowboys fan. Yep.
I'm not really a fan. I mean, technically I should be a Packer fan, I guess. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin. My husband and I moved away for a long time. We were in DC before we moved back to Wisconsin a number of years ago. But I mean, I don't care that much about football. So there's a little fact. Yay. I'd rather watch
Maybe when your boys get a little bit older. I found that me becoming a Cowboys fan just opened up a lot of good conversation with me and my boys. So I've got 2 sons and a daughter. My daughter's not so much a fan, but my boys are. So it's fun to watch games together.
And they definitely, I mean, my husband watches with them all the time. They love watching together. The sport that we all watch as a family is hockey. I love watching hockey. It's super fun. We've been a very big Florida Panthers fan, especially since they've been in the Stanley Cup the past 2 years, at least, that we've really been watching everything. That's the kind of sport I can definitely get into and cheer for and stand up and yell.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think I've ever watched a hockey game on TV, so maybe I'll have to do that. Yeah.
They're definitely more fun in person.
Yeah, they are fun in person.
Yeah, we go to see the Badgers here during the winter, usually a couple of times. They're super fun games to kind of just get into. So, yeah.
Dana, can't you ice skate?
I was a competitive figure skater growing up, and then I coached for a while through college to make extra money. And so definitely knew a lot of hockey players in my life. But there was always the figure skaters needed to finish working out before the hockey players could come. And so I have lots of memories of hockey players just like on the sides, just waiting, tapping their thumbs. Come on, ladies, let's get off.
That's
Spent a lot of time on the
I
ice.
don't think I've never been ice skating. I broke my arm roller skating. So I think
Okay, well, I feel like I need to teach you. I'm a very good teacher. Yeah. So we'll need to figure out a meetup and skate.
I haven't done ice skating in a long time, but
the last time I skated, I refused to get off the ice. We went for Mother's Day several years ago, and I refused to get off the ice without doing an axel, which is, jump. It's like muscle memory comes back, but I fell so many times that I ended up having to get a hip MRI. So I needed to remember I'm like way too old to be doing that.
That's like me. I mean, I don't understand how it happened. I was like, there's no way ever in my life, because I did cheerleading. It's like, there's no way ever in my life I will not be able to do a back handspring.
Right.
Like, that is just muscle. I'll never lose it. And I did it at the CWD conference 2 years ago. And I swear, like, my body just ripped into 2 pieces.
I feel like that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know. It's really a tough pill to swallow. I was like, I'm not getting off the ice. I'm going to land this thing. And my husband did get it on video, though. I did land it, and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny when you get into sports that you were into, and then potentially, like, Dana, you did some coaching. I know, Kathryn, you probably did some with like your cheerleading stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Now having kiddos in sports, you do, like, you have memory of how to do it and how your body functioned. And then you get into doing it and you're like, yeah, that doesn't feel the same as it used to feel at all. I mean, I'm even careful. My boys are both like into soccer. right? I can play soccer. I never really played on teams, but I can play it. And I feel like I'm a little bit more like careful with how I turn and how I kick and how I move my body. I would never, ever try to coach. I was a cheerleader for years. I would never try to coach that at this point. The flips and the turns and the moves and the going up and the pier. No, no, a good idea anymore.
You see, I haven't tried stunting in a long time, so in my mind, I'm still so good at that, and it's fine. Like, I got it.
It's good to have
You
the
could do
memory
it.
of it and know that you did do it.
Yeah, like I can do it. I can do it still. It's fine.
I can do it still. Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
not gonna do it to find out. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. I think I found, and Dana, I mean, you're a runner. I don't know, Kathryn, do you run? That's not even something I
way.
know. You don't
No.
run. Okay.
No.
No. Well,
It's a hard no.
it's a hard no. Well, it was for me for a really long time. I never did cross country. I never did track in high school or anything. And it wasn't until I got married and my husband was a runner. And he's like, why don't you go for a run with me? And I was like, I don't run. Like, you should know that about me already. Like, I do not
Just a
run.
hard no.
That's a hard no, right? And then I got going doing it. And I found it like it's one of my favorite things to do now. And I've done marathons and
I hear people say that, like, but for me, nope. Like, let me just like give you some examples of how bad I am at running. And I don't know what it is, like, but it's been since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I ran a mile with like my dad put me and my brother into this mile race, and we finished dead last out of this like massive group of kids. And like everyone else had finished, and they were 8 minutes done before we finally came down the hill and finished our mile. Or
and it was a downhill, it sounds like.
it was downhill, yes. And for high school cheerleading, we absolutely had to run an 8-minute mile to be allowed to cheer for the Friday night games. Did I ever do it? No. But they were like, we'll just.
I just made an allowance for you. Sweet Kathryn gotta go anyway.
Kathryn's good at all the gymnastics, so
Yeah.
we'll just leave her.
Yeah. And then like Kenny would run sometimes like in preparation for his bodybuilding shows. So I'm like, I got this. I'm exercise physiologist. I know how to breathe now. Like I can run now. So we went out and he lapped me 5 times, I think.
Okay, we won't tell anybody, Kathryn. It's all good.
Yeah, I think you should keep it to yourself, Kathryn.
Yeah.
It makes you more lovable. It's all good.
Absolutely. There's lots of activities that you shine at.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Totally fine.
Absolutely.
I will say I've had a few injuries that have caused me not to be able to run recently, and I miss it all the time. It's so yeah, walking, other activities just don't scratch that itch for me, sadly.
Yeah. Yoga though.
Yeah, yoga's yes. I mean, I do all the things, but I don't know. There's something really about just running by yourself. It's just such a good mental health kind of
There is.
moment for
I've
me.
always said, I was talking to my
Kathryn's like, no way.
Kathryn's like, no, not for me. I was talking to the woman who does my hair a number of years ago. And we were talking about like meditation and that kind of stuff. And I just like my brain can't meditate that way. I can't just sit still because I think about too many other things. Whereas when I run, I'm like a moving meditator. I can get into something and work through it. And by the end of the run, I'm like, I've got the solution. Like I know what to do about that. And so, yeah, it's definitely my like mental time to just breathe and whatever it is. So it works well. And I'm glad that I was introduced to it.
Yeah.
well,
All
I
the
feel
fun
that way.
things.
But
Yeah.
walking, not running.
Does Gravy always walk with you?
Yeah, Gravy loves her walks.
Oh, I
Yeah.
miss running with I have a big chocolate lab and he used to go on runs with me, but he's 11 now. So
Yeah, my 2 dogs will not go very far anymore. They like to go outside, but they've got
If
their
I like
limits for
go
sure.
too fast, Gravy nips at me. So like, I don't know if that's like because she has some kind of herding dog in her, but like I can't pick up the pace, which, it's great because I'm not going to anyway. But
Have y'all ever had an animal that picks up on your blood sugar levels? I have
No.
not.
yeah, I taught Gravy. So what I did was every time my blood sugar went low, I would give her some chicken. It's like the Stella and Chewy, not like real chicken. She is obsessed with Stella and Chewy. So yeah, she'll come and she'll like hit me.
So she really learned.
Yeah, but not at night. At nighttime,
Okay.
she's sleeping.
She's done.
Which, with Trio and everything, it's like I don't really have overnight lows.
You're back to Trio from Loop.
Yes, I am back to Trio.
Yeah. I think all three of us then are using Trio at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went off of it once the Loop option for having it look up the carbs and kind of populate them in just to give that a try, but very quickly was glad to go back to Trio. I don't know, it's been definitely a helper, fun female hormonal stuff, weirdness that Trio just does better with, as well as I think it navigates food a lot better as well.
I agree.
So
Yeah, once it's like dialed in, you just have to pay attention so much less. It's so nice.
Right.
yeah, I know and it's nice again that we have each other to kind of reach out and talk to about
If I was
it.
doing it by myself, I don't know if I would have stuck out as long as I did. I think I would have reverted back to Loop, but us doing it together was so supportive and helpful for me.
Yeah. I mean, I can think even back to eons ago of things that I've done and enjoyed doing. Like even my first marathon that I did, I actually was on Loop. I had started
I'm trying to remember what I was on for my first. I think I was at
an old Medtronic.
It was no, you know what? It was an Animus pump because, well, it was a half marathon I was doing from the base of Vale Village to the top of Vale Mountain,
Wow.
which was a big climb, and my Animus pump broke the night before. And I was thinking, all this training, how am I going to do this run? And I don't remember the person's name, so forgive me, but whoever was the Animus rep back then in the Denver area met me at a parking lot. So if you're listening, I mean, it
Here
was
you
the
go.
best thing ever. And I was able to run the next day with my replacement.
Yeah, it is. And, I had done before the marathon, like you, I'd done many, many half marathons already and hadn't had access to anything I was the manipulator. I was the one who knew where and when to make an adjustment and what to do and where to fuel and all of those kinds of things. And then so my first marathon was the Disney Marathon.
That's fun.
In Orlando, which was phenomenal. But, with Loop, the connectivity is what it is. And at that time, Loop was with Riley Link and the old Aeros pods. And I got to the start at like 3:30 in the morning. And I'm standing around and like there's no communication. Like my Loop is red. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? I trained for this entire like several hour long thing. And now my Loop is red. So, in the moment, like we all do, it's kind of like, well, you piece together a plan. I went to open Loop. I went back to managing just with like a temp basal and all those kinds of things. And then once I got running and I cleared out the people, my Loop turned green again and I went back to automation and then my plan worked. I mean, it was lovely. It was absolutely the most fantastic thing that I had.
I would say that feeling where your diabetes technology loses connection and then the moment it reconnects, whether it's a Dexcom signal or your pump, you're like, oh, thank goodness. Like the day is not ruined, like thank God.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the best feeling.
What's the weirdest place that you guys have had a failure of something?
No, I don't go anywhere weird.
I mean, I've had plenty of like mistakes. One of the worst mistakes I ever did.
Hi, Gravy.
Podcast if you don't mean gravy about feeding us, right?
Yes.
Right.
I took a pump vacation because I was going scuba diving and I mixed up my short acting and long acting insulin right before a dive. And I was like, juicing and drinking and eating and had such a stomach ache. That was not a technology problem. That was a Dana problem.
Yeah. That was a self-brain problem.
Yeah, that was just an awful problem.
Yeah.
We all have done it, right?
We all have.
One time that was a little along the lines of not good, but it's completely not what you asked, Jenny.
Oh.
One time I was taking a test for Italian in college and my blood sugar, I wasn't actually low, but you have like a fake low. So I took my phone and put it outside the door so that it wouldn't make noise because this was before you could like turn alarms off or anything. So I put it outside the door and I finished the test. And when I left the classroom, my phone was gone. So someone had picked it up and went away. So then I had no Dexcom connection whatsoever. It's not like I was using a pump, so at least I wasn't like relying on it for that. But
still, I guarantee that that's what you were using and you probably didn't have the old school finger stick be able to check your blood sugar, right?
No, I had my meter in my room.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, good job, me. Because I didn't get the CGM until the senior year. So yeah, I still had the meter. I probably hadn't used it in a very, very long time, and who knows if I lost it, or who knows if I used it when I lost the phone. But I don't know. I don't know what I did. But
Diabetes goes with us every day, 24/7. But I always think back to the times of when I've really noticeably paid attention to kind of carrying it with me, right? Especially if I'm on my own and I'm the only one that can navigate me, right? In travel or all of those different kinds of things. I think the most interesting thing that I had to do in terms of navigating was when Dana, have you been to Peru? Have you done Machu Picchu?
And it's definitely on my list.
Okay. I mean, that was definitely a travel trip that I had to think and plan for, because when you hike the Inca Trail, there's no refrigeration.
Oh, sure.
Right? There's no refrigeration. Depending on what day travel you plan to do, you stop along the way and you camp and you get cooked food that there's no way to look up the information when you're on the top of a mountainside.
Right.
There's no chat GPT help there. I don't know, it just makes me grateful for all of the technology we have, but also being able to go back to the old school ideas that I learned when I was first diagnosed, because I think those are a really good base.
Absolutely.
To be able to adjust from.
And that we don't freak out if the technology is not going to work, because we've been there before.
Right.
Yeah. If that apocalypse does come.
Exactly.
Who's going to win? Who's gonna travel the farthest and do the best in the apocalypse of all of us?
I'm dying right away.
You're going to run toward the zombie and be like, yes, please eat my brains.
Just take me. Take me.
I'll try to run away and trip and fall, or I'll pass out because fight or flight. I literally just die.
Like a fainting goat.
Yeah. I think my thing that I always think, the fainting goat. Oh my gosh.
I love those fainting goats. Oh my God.
Or the possum, play dead. I'm already dead. You don't want me. Right?
Yeah. Old meat.
Me. I always think about that when you're thinking about the silly things. I'm like, I would definitely be the one who would try to hide. And then my Dexcom alarm would go off, or my pod would fail. And I'd be the dead giveaway. I'd be like, it wasn't me. I didn't give myself away.
That's a conversation we need to have another time, is the worst place that your Dexcom alarm has gone off. Because that,
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
What gets me a lot now is the Night Scout tune. I bring my computer with me everywhere, and sometimes I accidentally leave it open. Everyone's just
that thing is loud.
And it's horrible, and you can't change. It's the one noise that you can't change, and it's horrible.
It's like an alien takeover sound.
It is. And nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
No.
So it is a really unique sound.
Well, always nice talking with you guys.
I know, this was fun.
Yeah, our little meetups.
Forever. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and I hope you enjoyed some of our conversation, just getting to know us as people.
Yeah, we're normal-ish.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow, or subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast is brought to you by Integrated Diabetes Services, where experience meets expertise, passion meets compassion, and diabetes care is personal because we live it too. Our team of clinicians, all living with type 1 diabetes, understands the challenges firsthand. We're here to help no matter where you are in the world. From glucose management to self-care strategies, the latest tech, sports and exercise, weight loss, type 1 pregnancy, and emotional well-being, we've got you covered. We offer consultations in English and Spanish via phone, video chat, email, and text. Want to learn more? Visit integrateddiabetes.com or email info@integrateddiabetes.com to schedule a consultation. On behalf of Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast, I'm Gary Shiner, wishing you a fantastic week ahead. And don't forget to think like a pancreas.